Right, so Frank, just a few days on from a great event in Ipswich. Just firstly, how happy were you with the occasion? Even though it did rain, people came out in their numbers and really supported Fabio.
In spite of the weather, the atmosphere was unbelievable. 22,000 odd people showed up to support the local hero in Fabio. And it was an exciting evening. It was a good card. There were some real good competitive fights on the card. And the main event was one of the most dramatic endings I've seen for a long, long time in a fight.
Does it really speak volumes to kind of the fan base Fabio has built over there throughout the years?
I mean, when you look at him and you think he's only had, what did he have, 4 white collar fights and 20 fights, it's amazing to just in 20 fights. It just shows you, one, how he's captured the public's imagination. 2, the fact that he's the local hero, and he's a nice guy. He's a really nice person. As is, by the way, Hooney. They were 2 really, really good. They're really good people to work with, and they gave they gave the fans a brilliant night, and in 2 different ways. From being a situation where Fabio ended the first round, he wobbled Justice, and he had a good 3rd round, but most of the other rounds were won by Hooney, who was well in front on the judges' scorecards, and but showed what he is. How dangerous he is. Both of them at the press conference said what they were going to do, and both did what they said they was going to do. Hooney said, "I'm going to come out there, I'm going to box his head off," and so forth. And Fabio said, "You may be the better boxer, etc., but for any split second, I can change a fight round." And he did it, and I think he's done it for the 18th time now in 20 fights.
And obviously a lot of the talk, like you say, has been that Hooney was winning a lot of the rounds, perhaps outboxing Fabio. But is it really a testament to the talent that Fabio is, the fact that he managed to pull off that knockout, like a spectacular knockout that we'll look back on for years to come? Is it a testament to his talent?
I think it is, and it's a bit like Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder, pulling it out of the bag, did that for 6 years as a world champion. And Fabio, who obviously doesn't have the wealth of experience that Deontay Wilder had as an amateur and a pro, he does the same thing. I mean, and he shows what he's all about, which is heart, self-belief, and true grit. I mean, there were moments in that fight where he was getting caught with some good shots. He took them, and I don't like seeing that for a fighter I'm involved with, but he stayed true to his task and eventually, thankfully, pulled it out of the bag.
You mentioned that kind of lack of experience. Obviously, we saw with the Fraser Clark fight. In the first fight, it was a very tough 50-50 fight, and then he came back and kind of
done the business,
knocked him out. Are we going to see that moving forward in his career, that he's a guy that he's learning on the job, really, in the pro game?
Well, he is. He is learning on the job, and that's quite a good point regarding Fraser Clark. I mean, Fraser Clark fight I thought he won it. I thought he just nicked it, but no one's complaining. It was a draw, but he did learn from it, and the next time out, he showed what he's all about, and there was a weakness there, and he exploited the weakness against Fraser. Caught him with a great punch. Again, showing what he's all about. He's a good finisher, and did well. I know there's been a couple of complaints about the referees count, but people want to know what the rules are, first of all. When a fighter hits the floor, the referee's first job is to ensure that his opponent is sent to a neutral corner. Don't want him standing over him as he gets up, send him to a neutral corner. He does that, then he looks to the timekeeper and he picks the count up off the timekeeper and then continues to count, which is what he did. And Justice never complained at the end. He never said, "Oh, don't stop it," or screamed or anything about it. He took it, and he was quite right to do so. And the referee was quite right, because one thing about Fabio, you're in trouble with him, he gets you in trouble, you are in trouble. And the punch power that he's got wouldn't have been good for Justice.
And you say that there's been reports of Justice's team complaining about the decision. Despite that, hats off to Justice for a great performance, and we'll probably see him back at the top soon, considering how
he's
well
a very good boxer. Really nice guy. His team are really nice people. Good trainer. They got their tactics. They obviously done their homework. And of course he will be back. I mean, you know, we've got a great roster of heavyweights on our books, and he could fight any of those. You know, you're guaranteed a good fight with him. That's for sure.
And throughout the fight, Eddie Hearn was sat next to you. He was very animated. He was, some would say, giving it large.
Well, they're behind their man, him and Spencer, and they, you know, he was in front, obviously on the judges' cards, and I was quite frustrated sitting there, and I'm listening to them. But for me, it was, you know, he just wasn't letting that right hand go. And a couple of times I went to the corner and, you know, just shouting up, I shouldn't be doing that. The corner know what they're doing, but you know, I did. And the last time I went, which was the round, it was just before he knocked him over. You know, I said to him, he's miles behind. He is not going to win this fight. If it goes to distance, it'll be awarded to Hooney because he's a mile in front. I said, you have to let that right hand go, and thankfully he did.
And Frank Smith obviously made that bet before the fight, saying that if their team loses, he'll come in and make tea. He has since actually accepted that offer. Will you be welcoming him into the office to make some tea?
He can come in and make my Earl Grey.
And for Fabio, what do you think is next? There's been a couple names thrown about. Obviously, Pulev is one that's been mentioned. Derek Chisora, he actually had a back and forth the other day. You seem like you might like that fight.
I like all those fights, but he's the interim champion now of the WBA. So Pulev, I may even get ordered, I don't know, but I love the fight with Derek Chisora. There's a Joe Parker, and it's a really good, sexy division. There's some brilliant fights to be made there. Exciting fights as well.
Just on Lewis Richardson, obviously your new signing, made his debut the other day. I think that's the first time you've seen him live in the flesh.
Correct, yeah.
What did you make of him?
I thought he was a very competent fighter, intelligent, great moves. He's going to be a great addition to the roster, to the team. He'll go places. He's got a good boxing brain. You can see that. He's thinking about what he's doing. He moves well, and he makes you pay if you make a mistake. And he'll get better and better with experience. You know, he's the first male Olympic medalist that we've signed since, I think it was since James DeGale, was it? Yes, it's James DeGale. So that's great company to be in, and also the other one we signed was the silver medalist in Amir Khan, and obviously Nicola Adams, who won 2 gold medals. So, you know, he's in exalted company.
Those are some big shoes to fill, you mentioned there.
Yeah.
Obviously a 6-rounder for his first fight. Do you think he'll kind of be maybe fast-tracked, you know, faster than
fast-track him. You know, he's capable of doing the 6 rounds, as he showed. He's got a good engine, and it's just about him getting experience. But we're moving at the correct pace. Like I always say, it's not a 100-metre race, it's a marathon. And, you know, you want your guys to get experience and learn their trade. And, you know, he's well on the road to be doing that.
And there was obviously some announcements from the Ring magazine, some you know, rumoured fights happening in Saudi. One being Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. Obviously, there's no announcements, or nothing's been confirmed yet, as we understand. But if that fight were to happen, what do you think of the matchup?
I love the fight. I love the fight. I think everybody loves it. It's a bloody good fight. You know, Moses is the new kid on the block. 20 years of age, done everything up to what's been asked him, and obviously going in with somebody like Dillian, who's got a wealth of experience and at the top level and so forth, would be a really big test for him. See what he's all about.
Is it kind of the perfect fight for both guys in the sense that Moses, it's a name that he would have watched growing up, it's someone he can really get up for, and for Dillian, he's looking at Moses like, this is a new kid on the block. I'm going to show that I've still got it.
Yeah. Well, he's got a wealth of experience, hasn't he? You know, he's been in with everybody. He's fought for the world title, you know, and given a good account of himself against some really good fighters over the years, and beaten good fighters. So this would be a tough test for Moses if it happens.
if that is announced, we really look forward to that. Tony Curtis Jr., a new signing.
Yeah.
He was saw him in the office the other week with Roy Jones. He's been a prospect kind of that's been known about since he was a young guy, maybe 15 years of age. He's been a pro for a while.
He turned pro, didn't he?
Yeah,
15 or 16.
Been a pro now for a while.
Yeah.
How happy were you to snatch that signing up?
I like him. I really do like him. He's got a really good personality. He can fight. Lightning is his nickname, and I think people are going to like him. It's a lower weight division, but I think he'll grow and become, hopefully he'll get, become bantamweight, maybe a super bantamweight. But he's a extremely crafted and smart fighter.
And Hamza Shiraz, not long until his massive fight against Edgar Berlanga in New York. He's over with Andy Lee now in Dublin. He's coming up to a new weight. Are we really going to see a prime Hamza Shiraz after the slight setback from his last fight?
Well, we better see a prime one because he's going to be in trouble otherwise. He's in with a really good fighter in Berlanga. He's not gone up and dipped his toe in the water, tested the waters. He's going straight in. And that's the belief that he's got, I've got in him, and he's got, and his team have got in him. And it's a big fight, so we'll find out. On a big stage, he's going to the other guy's backyard, so we'll find out what he's all about. He was definitely struggling. Well, he was struggling. He couldn't make the weight. That's why he's gone up a weight. But he was struggling last time out in the weight, and I thought he was fortunate to get the draw. But he got the draw, and now he's had to go up because of the problems he's had, and we'll see what he's all about.
Could this kind of be one of the moments that made him into the fighter he's going to become? You kind of see it often with fighters coming up. They have that setback, and then they get back into camp, become a new fighter.
It's about learning. It's about learning, and it's about, and I mean, for me, the early part of that fight against them is, he was behind, and I think he had a problem obviously with his hand, as we all know. But he was, I think, because of the, and I didn't know at the time he was struggling to make the weight, although he's a big guy. Because of that struggle to make the weight, I think the problem was that, sometimes fighters worry about can they, they don't want to run out of gas as the fight goes on, and I think some of that was going on. But again, I'm poked my nose in, I run round to the corner and told him, you got to step up, you don't step up, it's all over. And he did step up, to his credit. Even with his bad hand, he was throwing shots. So he's a game sod, and he's going to have to be a game, and he's going to have to draw on all the experience that he's got, and all the stuff that he's learned, because he's in with somebody who can fight in Berlanga. Excuse me.
A big announcement yesterday, Lawrence Okoli versus Kevin Lerena. Lerena has given issues to both Dubois and the man that we saw the other night, Justice Hooney, just showing how much of a talent he is. How good of a fight is that, Okoli versus
That's
Lerena?
a cracker. Kevin can bang. And Lawrence can bang. Lawrence is more comfortable now at this weight. They were at the same weight, so up until a year ago, they were more or less fighting at the same weight division. Lawrence has done, I thought was, really looked well in his debut. He's a quality fighter, and the one thing I like about him and his team, they don't ask for any favours. They'll fight anybody, and it's the same with Kevin. I mean, they're two competitors, and the main event we got is just the most amazing heavyweight fight. And we got an amazing fight in Lawrence and Kevin, and some of the other ones that we'll be announcing.
We understand that it's almost a sellout, so another huge Queensberry show.
I think it was 70 this morning. Something around 76,000 tickets, and we've got a while to go yet.
How excited are you?
Very, because the atmosphere is going to be great. 76,000 tickets is 16,000 more. We put it on at Spurs, so we sold Spurs out plus 16,000 tickets.
Wow. Alois Jr., obviously a couple of weeks since his big knockout of David Jameson, and he looks like such a special talent. How excited are you about what this guy can do? You've kind of taken him from, his first fight to what he is now, which has really grown into a seasoned pro.
He's a young man, just turned 22. I love him. as a fighter, I think he's exciting. He's a very exciting fighter. He's actually turning a good boxer. But the power he's got is phenomenal. I mean, he is a big punching fighter. And he's one of those fighters that can punch the fight out of you because of the power. He can hit you on the arms and you're thinking, sod that, I don't want to get that on the chin. You know, wherever he throws you, wherever he hits you, he hurts you. He's going to win a world title.
Obviously, Vidal Riley is the British champion. He's been calling out Vidal Riley, but it is the British title that we want.
I'd love to see that fight. Absolutely love to see that fight, and I hope the Border Control order it, make it happen.
Absolutely. Derek Chisora, a name we haven't heard about for a couple months. His 50th fight, we all know it's something you're looking to make. Is there anyone you have in mind for Derek? I think he brings excitement whoever he fights.
Well, he obviously, for his 50th fight, he said that's going to be his last, and he wants it to be a big, big fight. And he's in a position where he's the mandatory challenger now. He's a mandatory challenger for the title. So, like I keep saying, you know, the 19th of July is a big, big night for the heavyweight boxing. 4 belts on the line. We're going to find out who's the best, who's the champion. And then all these mandatories are going to kick in. So all these guys are in the #1 spot or interim champions. It's going to open up for them. We're either going to get one after one mandatory, or maybe, I don't know, maybe some titles might even get vacated. I have no idea at this stage. But the first one in will be the WBO mandatory. That's the one that's been ordered and is due, and that's Joe Parker.
Glad you mentioned Joe Parker. He's another name, you know, people want to know what he's doing next. Parker and Chisora actually had a bit of a back and forth. They've obviously fought twice before.
Love to do that. Again, it's another great fight. I'd love to, the two of them to get that on. I spoke to Joe this morning. He called me from New Zealand this morning. We had a chat, and he'll be fighting whatever happens. He's going to have a fight probably early September.
He's as game as they come. He's willing to fight anyone.
Yeah, he's been there. He's former world champion. Done it. Been in with everyone. I mean, been in with all of them. And he's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Ajit Kabayel, obviously a guy that's, you know, made waves in the heavyweight division of late. A show in Germany was potentially being targeted.
I'd love to do that, and we're looking at that. And I've got to be honest, I think we will be doing that. You know, again, he's given a massive account for himself. Him and Big Bang was a good fight, quality fight, and he showed a bit of this, getting off the floor. And he's got great boxing skills. I mean, heavyweight scene's on fire.
And yeah, like you say, the heavyweight scene is on fire. We've still got a couple more to mention.
Yeah.
Joe Joyce, you know, obviously had that loss to Hrgović, but it was a great fight. He mentioned that he wants to fight on. Are you looking to get him out there soon?
I haven't seen him yet, but I will do, and sit down with him and his manager, Adam Morley, and we'll make a decision. You know, Joe's a lovely fella. He's been with us, and we're with him, and whatever he wants to do, we'll support him.
And David Adelaide obviously had that recent fight with Jamie TKB. It's unclear if a rematch is going to happen. What do you think? He'll be in a
big fight. He's in a big fight.
Big fight.
Big fight.
An announcement coming soon?
Very soon.
We look forward to that. And just one more, Anthony Yard. Is there anything you're targeting for Anthony?
Well, I'd like to see him in with Callum or one of those guys. I mean, again, it's a sexy division. Lots of good fights to be made. Let's get them on. He wants them. We want them. Let's make them.
Boatsi, is that a fight?
I'd do that. It's another great fight.
Yeah.
Great fights. They're proper fights. You know, they're fights where there's a story. You know, where there's I mean, for them two to fight each other would just be brilliant. It's been brewing for years and years and years. Everybody would like to see that fight.
So Sam Noakes, he's been ordered to fight for the WBO, I believe, against an American, Abdullah Mason. Abdullah is a rising prospect in America. What do you think of that fight?
I like that. Sam deserves it. Sam's worked very hard. He's an exciting fighter. He's got an engine on him. And you're quite right. Abdullah's a massive rising star or prospect in America. But so's Sam over here. And that is a good fight. And Sam's capable of winning that.
Do you think that Sam kind of, once he gets in these big fights, he's got a lot of personality as well? Do you think he has some star potential over here?
He has star potential. He's a nice guy. He's got a good following, but more importantly, he can fight. He's got a tremendous engine. Tremendous engine.
Always helps when you can get some knockouts.
It does, and you know, when he's in that ring, you know he's all over you. I mean, he's one of those, isn't he? He doesn't leave you alone. You don't get no breathing space with him. He's relentless. Powered by Duracell.
Well, listen, it seems like the roster is absolutely filled with talent and great fights, and we can't wait to see some of the
there's
announcements
that, and there's a lot more in the lower weights as well that we're working on. So, be some good announcements in the next couple of weeks.
Frank, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you.